G'day everyone, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. So my name's Elle, I'm a mum of two and I'm a medicinal herb farmer from the Northern Rivers of New South Wales. I live on Yagle country, which is situated about 15 minutes from Yamba in New South Wales. Where I live at Golmarad is this amazing biodiversity hotspot. So it's where the mighty Clarence River meets the sea, and I'm surrounded by beautiful oceans and coastal emus and bats in rainforests and old growth rainforests as well. It's just an amazing, beautiful place to live. So my story started way back when I was a police officer. At the end of 2018, I went to a whole heap of really horrific incidents and my brain just sort of snapped and I had to leave the police force. What made me leave the police force was I had a really, really bad month, and in the space of a week I had a crushed baby, a double fatality in a car accident, and then the final straw was on Christmas night. There was a shooting and it was too much for me. I just broke. And from there I developed really, really bad PTSD. I was pretty lost and despondent, and I didn't really know who I was anymore or what I wanted to do with myself. So for quite a while I was just really broken inside. From there, initially I couldn't leave my house for a good 6 months, and I couldn't be around people, and just my central nervous system from all of the constant adrenaline and up and down for 17 years. I just sort of had to repair and regulate, and I started to go and spend time in nature. So I would go to the beach and just spend a bit of time at the beach. After about a year of being all sad and despondent and not being able to leave my house, I decided to meander down the path of learning about plants. And I loved gardening, and I just really wanted to learn how to garden better, really. So I went to TAFE New South Wales, where I did a Certificate 2 of production nursery, so learning how to grow in a nursery sort of setting and propagating plants. And then I did a Certificate 3, which is sort of a little bit more complicated, learning about soil biodiversity and cropping on a larger scale. It was an organic one, so I learned all about organic soil imports and organic growing, really. That's where I met a different student, and she asked me if I had a particular plant. She needed it because she needed to have an abortion. That really took me back. I had no idea that plants had that sort of potential or any sort of medicinal potential at all at that stage. And it just sort of occurred to me, I'm like, oh, hang on, we grow plants to eat, and we also grow plants to look pretty and things like that. And it was that moment where I realised, oh, plants are also medicine. So it just took me on this big deep dive into the medicinal herb world. So I just got every book that I could get my hands on and read all of them. And I did a couple of different courses on learning how to do herbal first aid and how to make medicine with plants. And from there, my love of herbalism began. Eventually I went on to do a Certificate 4 of production horticulture, and that sort of honed my large-scale cropping of medicinal herbs. So a couple of years on, I was driving down to my mum's house and I saw a mullein plant on the side of the road. Now, from my studies and learning in the books, I recognised that to be a mullein plant. I was so excited. So I jumped out of the car and I jumped the fence and I harvested a couple of leaves. And when I got to my mum's house, I showed it to her and I told her all about this amazing plant, which is fantastic for coughs. And she told me that she had this horrible morning cough. So she tried the leaves, and lo and behold, the mullein plant was actually phenomenal and it completely cleared up her morning cough. So when I could see that it worked for her, I just became totally obsessed. So I planted a medicinal herb garden at my home. And from there, I started just doing home herbalism with my kids and also some of my friends and family. But then from there, people started contacting me, asking me if I had some certain plants and different things that they needed for their health. So from there, I started selling. My 14-year-old daughter, Hannah, she created a website for me, and from there, Australian Medicinal Herbs was born. So education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. So by you learning this can change your future and that of your family.